Hi, hello, vanakkam, and welcome back to yet another episode on Little's Law YouTube channel. So, in my previous video, in my very first video on SAP with Neoload, we saw about what is SAP, we saw about what is SAP HANA, and then we saw how to record our first script. So, today I will show you how to record your first script and how to fix the issues in it, because when you record an SAP script, it's not just about recording, it's about making sure that the script is valid and there are no issues when you try to re-execute or when you try to validate the project, because those scripts will miss or will have mismatch with the session IDs, with the API tokens, the login ID, and much more. So today in this video, we will see about how to create your first script and how to make sure it is valid and it runs. So for that, we are going to try with the sign in script. So the transaction is going to contain a landing page, and you're going to enter your email ID, your password, and then you're going to sign in and then just sign out. So you will understand at the end of this video that why I'm doing just this, because it involves really lots and lots of patience, and you have to have fix all those issues. And there is one more thing which I will tell you during the process of fixing the script. So before we move on to the video, this is me, Vasant Shanmugam. I welcome you all to Little Slaw YouTube channel. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you have not subscribed yet to know more information and interesting video like this. Like and share the video with your friends who are interested in learning Neoload and who wanted to work on SAP with Neoload recording. So now let's start our first script here. So let me create a new project, and this is going to be SAP one underscore SAP underscore sign in. And now let me create the project, and now let's start the recording. So once you go to recording, we all know we have to choose the SAP GUI protocol, and I'm enabling the SAP recording, the SAP recording, and I'm clicking on OK, and this will pop up the browser. So here I have the recording window, and here I have the browser. So let me start the first transaction, which is the 01 underscore landing page. So let me go to the right page now. SAP login is here. Now let me change it to, okay, let me have it as 0 landing page underscore 01, and let me click enter. So this will take me to the login page, and here I have my email ID, one of my test email IDs. So I'm going to enter email ID and continue. So continuing my second step, and now we have got the next page where we have to enter the password. So let me enter the transaction name, which is enter password and sign in. And I'm clicking on sign in. Now I will be logged into the application, the SAP application. So let's wait for the page to load, for the complete page to load. And now we have got the complete page that has got loaded. And now let us sign out. So this is the plan for now, because once you create this transaction and once you create the frameworks for these particular correlation values, it will be very easy for you to navigate. So even you can record a huge script with a lot of transactions. So this is again is going to be a lesson, a tutorial for you, where you can learn how to fix the basic issues. So now we are at the last step, which is the sign out. So I'm signing out the application. So we have now signed out. So let's wait for the application to complete its transaction. So we have got it completed. So now I am stopping the recording. So now we can see there are finalizing the recording process is over, and now here we have to be very careful in choosing the servers which is part of the application. So these are not anyway part of the application, so I'm removing all of them. So these also can be removed, these can be removed, these two can be removed from the script. So anything that comes for MSN, the captcha, the substrate tree, but these on demand were part of the application, so we can keep them. I am removing all the other requests, and then I'm keeping all these sap.com URLs, and I'm removing all the other URLs which I do not think is part of the application. And now let me click next, and then here this will search for dynamic parameters using the, in case if you have any framework rules already set up which you can do it manually, I will show you how to do that, because that will be very helpful for you to correlate. In case if you have a lot of values, this will automatically correlate by the time you complete your scripting. And then let me click on next. So this will search for any framework rules if there are any. So there are some framework rules in the system, so this will correlate few values for us, and then it is searching for some more values in the system in the Neoload. So there is actually a section where you can create your frameworks and you can save them, but again this is independent to your system. So in case if you are creating something in your system, you might need to export it to your team who are using it, so that they can import it and they can use it. And I'm clicking on next, overwriting time to 0, and another next, and then finish. So now we have created our scripts. So here we can see all those 4 transactions. So I'm going to use the landing page 01. So let me disable this for now. I do not want to delete it, but I'm disabling it now. And I'm having the, okay, let me change the name of this so that I will change this to login page now. So landing page. So now here we can see that if we really are part of the script. So before we see the entire script, what we have to do is, let me save this script and let me run the validation, because this is what we are going to do with this video or in this script, because this the main objective of this script is to make sure that the script is valid. So here you can see it, the validation throws lots and lots of errors, so it never stops, and all of them are basically expecting a values which needs to be fixed as part of the scripting. So now let's go through it one by one. So here, favorite icon. So if I'll show you the reason. So here you can see when I click on this compare with recorded response, so it is already a 403 error, so which means this can be disabled, because anyways it's going to throw 403 error. And now let's go to the next transaction. So here you can see the request tells us that the previous request did not perform a redirection. So let me select this transaction here, and if I go to the previous transaction, so here it shows it is using a manual definition. And now what I'm going to do now is, let me choose another user manual definition here, and let me go to the next script here. So here you can see what is the response here. It shows 404, and but let's check it here. So again it shows 404. So anyways, it's going to throw the same thing. So what we can do is, let us disable it. So I'm disabling it for now. And there is one more thing. So you can see all these transactions has to get processed, but they were not processed during this time. So let's validate the other scripts, and then we will start another validation. So here you can see the request has a value, and then the response. So during recording, this was 200 and not 401. So we have to fix this. So for that, we need to go to the request, and in the request, we need to find for the any parameters and cookies. And if there is no, then we have to check for any value. So here you can see there is a value. This dynamic value has to be correlated. So what to do for that is, I'm choosing the value from here, and then going back to this tick the flag request button, and then I'm selecting this option whose recorded response continues, and then I'm entering this value. So now you can see this will show as tick for few of the previous requests. So if I go here, this request has this value. So what I can do now is, let me select this, and let me select in check by user path value, and if I go to response, I must check whether I have a similar value like that, not the exact value, but still here you can see there is a different set of responses here, but here you can see that the status reason is forbidden, so which means this particular request even is failing for some reasons. So let's go to the request here, and then go to the parameters and cookies, and let's see what are all the values that needs to be correlated. So here if I go to select and design, and here we can see there is this API key, the login token, the page URL. So lots of values has to be correlated. So let's first select the API key. I've copied it, and then I'm going to this flag request. I'm pasting the response contains thing, and here the very first second transaction. So here we can see the values there. I'm going to advanced. So before I'm going to advanced, let me see whether this value is there in the response, in the current response. So rather than going in a random fashion, what we will do is, we will go from step one, that is from transaction one, and then we will go one by one into the next transactions. So for that, let's go to the first one. Let's check the response here. So this, I think, is not the request which we need for this application, because I mean, like, this is again a past transaction, so we can ignore it and we can move to the next transaction. And coming back to the next response, so here we can see it's a 200, and the one that we recorded is a 302 is a response. So let's go back and see what can be done. So here we can see there is a SAML request. So let's see whether we can correlate this value. So I'm copying it and going back to flag request and selecting the whose recorded response contains, and I'm pasting the value which we have copied from the SAML response. So here we do not find any of the values here, so we will move to the next one, and here we can see the request type here shows follow the redirect of the previous request. So what I'm going to do now is, I'm going to change it to use a manual definition, and I've changed it now. So we have changed it, and when we can see this in the, sorry, I'll open the, so here you can see it's throwing an error. So let's run it now and see whether this issue has been resolved. So yes, we can see this particular issue here is resolved. I mean, this here, it's been resolved, and we can see the response. So let's go to the next request here, and here we can see we have got the values. So everything is fine. But anyways, let's go to the application and see whether we can. So here we can see a value which is the authenticity token. So let's try to correlate it. So I have copied the value here. I'm clicking on OK. Go to the flag request whose record response contains, paste it, and here we can see this particular request has this value in the response. So let's go to the advanced, select the variable extractors. I'm clicking the plus symbol so that we can get the value. So the extracted variable will be 0 and I'm choosing the extracted value from both. Let's search the value here. I'm searching for the find, and here we can see the value which is the authenticity token. So let's choose it from here so that we do not want to miss any values. And coming back to the end, here we have this double quote slash and the closing brackets. So let's come back here. Let's select these values, and so here we can see the authenticity token is selected. So let's change the variable name to authenticity token, and let me click OK, and let's replace the value here. So I'm selecting this value and let me search and replace. So there is only one value, so I'm replacing it and we are good now. So you can see the value is replaced here. And then what we will do is let's try to execute it so that we can see whether we get the right value or whether it is passed or failed or whether something has changed. So every time when you make a change, please make sure you run the script and make sure it's working fine. So here we have got an unusual effect because of the assertion. So we have created an assertion, right? So but it's showing this value is not here. So what we will do is let's try to search the value in the response here. So here if I search for the response, so that particular value is not here, which means even this request is a failed or an invalid request. So what we will do is we will have to first fix this script, otherwise it won't work or there is no use of using this values. So for this again, if we go to the request, we can find that there is some issue with the request. So that's the reason it's failing. So let's try to fix the value here. So for that, let's go back to this design and let's try to correlate whatever values we have here. So let me replace the relay state. Maybe I think that could be a chance. So here you can see the relay state is, so for that let's go back to the checking here, go back here, and let's search whether we have that value, the relay state value here. So here, yeah, I could see there is some values coming in. So what we can do is let's try to correlate the value from here. I'm going to the advanced. Let me go to the both and let me search for the value. So here we can get the value, that is the relay state equals. So I'm selecting it first and then I will choose this value here. So now we have got the relay state. So let me save this value and let me replace it. So now there are three values that has been replaced. I'm clicking on OK, and let's again validate this script. So this is again the most common problem, but this you have to do in case if you want to really fix this script. I know this is a pain, but still we have to fix this so that everything works fine. So let me again go back here. So now everything is failing. So here you can see there is no values with that. So what we can do is now let's go back. Let's try to fix these values now. So let me search this particular value from here. So I think that is being something a value. Sorry, let me flag requested, and let's see whether this value is somewhere. Okay, yeah, luckily we have that value in the response. So let me change this to manual definition, and let me go to advanced plus both search symbol, set cookie here. Let me select it equal to get, that was the left boundary. So relay state, let me click OK, and let me replace. So here we can see 9 values that has got replaced. So again, same thing, we will have to do a validation, because this will clearly tell us what is the issue. So here, one good thing here is we were able to correlate. I mean, we have that value somewhere here, so it worked. We can see here, so this value has been taken. So let's now try to replace the other values, and we'll see how does it work. So let's search for this value and let's try to fix it. So this value is not anywhere in any of the requests, so we cannot do it. But what we can do is, let's go back to the request here, and we can find what is missing or what is the problem here. So it says that it does not have this assertion, so let's search for that value here. So relay, yes, it's somewhere here, but it's not the relay state which we wanted, but it's a different relay state. But here we need, so let me even again, if you want to get the value, if right click on it and do a restore recorded value, and we'll get this value here. So let's try replacing the other values. You can ignore this value for now, and even we can go to advanced, delete this search, come back to this request. Let's try to search the signature value, and let's see what happens. I'm trying to correlate the signature value, and it's no anywhere. So we will try to move on to the next transaction. So here what is failing is we do not get the authenticity token. So that's the problem. So at this scenario, what we can do is we can even ignore the value. So let me delete or remove this value here, and then let's move on to the next failed request. So I'm going back to here. It shows 404 response. So let me open the comparison window. So both of them are 404. So what we can do here is we'll go to the request and let's see whether everything is fine. So what we can do is, since both of them are 404 response, we can disable it and we can go to the next request, and let's do another validation. So now we have passed those transactions. Sorry, it's 404 again. So we have moved to the next level. So since, okay, let me just open the comparison here, and yeah, both are 404. So as usual, we can disable it and we can move to the next transaction, and let me do a validation check again. So yes, we have again passed those transactions, and we are again here in this transaction. So let's open the response. So here it's a 200 response, and this is a 401 response. So let's go to the request now, and it looks like we need to do some correlation. So let me go back to the design here. So here you can see there is a value which looks like a dynamic value. So let me correlate it, and we have got this value in the previous response. So I'm opening it, go to advanced. I'm trying to correlate the value. I'm trying to find the right and the left boundary. So here I've got the right and left boundary. And in these scenarios, when you find a set of values, so you can very well do correlation, because some of the times, like most of these values will be required. So I have correlated the UID. Okay. Search and replace. I'm replacing all. And yes, we are going to do a validation. Yeah, so we have passed that step, and now we are in the accounts.getinfo. So let's see the response. It's 200. Okay, so here you can see we have got unauthorized user details. So we have to fix this, which means we have to correlate those values. So here something like this API key or key critical values which we need to correlate. So let me correlate this value here. I've gone to authenticate, advanced, and I'm searching the value now, the right and left boundary. So here we have got the right and left boundary. So let me do a left boundary as this value, and I'm choosing the selected value here, and then the double quotes at the end. So let me choose it as cookie, or let me choose it as authenticity value. So you can give any name, but it has to be like related to the application. So here, yeah, we have got 54 values that has to be replaced. And so let me do another validation. So now we have got few more values that has got passed, and let's try to fix the other values now. Go to request, check parameter with cookies. So let's see what are the other values that we can correlate here. Let me go to the account info, the login token. So let me open the login token, and let's do a flag request here. So it's showing the page here. So let me go to the variable extractors, and I will do another correlation. So let me do another correlation, and then finally I'm changing it to login token. And let's replace this value. So it has got 30 values to be replaced, and let's replace the values now, and I'm doing a checking again. So this time there will be few values that will be fixed. So now we have got few more. So here you can see this particular value is not working, so which means this particular request needs to be fixed. So for that we'll have to correlate this value, the authentic code, and let's search for the recorded response contains the both, and then the value here. So it has to be cookie value, then the double quotes, cookie value, I'm just giving a name and then search and replace. It has got just one value. Let me do another start checking, stop checking. So yes, now that particular issue is fixed, and now let's move on to the next request. So here again another 200 and 401. Let's go to the request, going to the raw content, and let me open this value here. So it looks like we need some value to be fixed. So we have to check again the request and we have to find what is causing the error. So this is the request here. The authorization, bearer, and everything is fine. But still we have got a 401 response. So which means there is some issues with the authentication. So we'll have to fix it. Let's go to the variable. So this is the variable which we have got. So in this scenario, there is a quick thing which we cannot think, but this is what I do. So there is a similar request on the top and it shows options, but this one shows git because sometimes not every request are being recorded properly with Neoload. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to change it to options and let me do a start checking. It will definitely work because these are some of the tricks which only few people know. So let's try that and let's see how does it work. Yes, so it worked and we have got the response. So we can even try that. So everything works fine, everything is same and it looks fine here. So we have got the values and this particular value here it shows again 401 response. So again the same technique which we followed. So here we have got user manual definition options and let's change it to user manual definition options here. And let me do another validation. It's just a quick validation. So here, yes, that particular, I think that request has been fixed. Yeah, and we have moved to the next request. So this is how we have to fix the scripts for each and every location. So same way, let me go to this request. We have, let's check whether we have any other request previously. So yeah, we have one request on the top, which is again a user manual definition and options. So we will try to replace this same again with that same method, save it, run it, start checking. So this will actually tell you clearly that at which step do we fail or which step does needs an attention. So yes, we have passed that value and now we are in the next step. So this time I will make a replacement to most of the values here. So here at this scenario, this looks like a little bit complex issue. So here it's a post form request and here again it's a post form request. But what is the difference here is this is an SAP trial application and here it's a different application here. So because of that, it looks like we need to correlate some of these values. So let me copy this authenticity token. Let me try to do a flag request. Yes, this is what I supposed I was expecting. So let's do a correlation here because these are some of the values which we get from the application. So again, let me rename it. Rename the authentication, sorry, correlate the authentication token here. So same way I'm searching the value. Uh, Let me correlate, keep it as a right boundary, and I've got the authenticity token. So let me just name it as auth token underscore login, and I'm clicking on OK. Let's replace the values, and we have got just one, and that is the next request. And let's run it again. And I would like to thank you, every one of you, for your patience for watching this entire video. So, yes, I think we have fixed it, I believe. Yes, we have fixed it, and we are in the another issue. I think there should be some assertion issue. So I think there is some variable that has got not recorded. So it's a kind of a different issue now. So we will have to fix this issue. So how are we going to fix it? With this, we have to fix a previous authenticity token. So how to do that? So we'll come to that failed request, go for it, search it, and we have got the this particular value in the previous response. So we will correlate this value. So this is again a kind of a really funny way. It takes a lot of time, I know, but it's going to be the same thing. So there is another thing which we really can do, which is we can create a framework key actually, which will save us lot of time, and I will tell you how to do that. So I'm just picking this cell, pick the selected text, and then let me go to the end of this, and let's search this value here, pick selected text, and auth token -1, because this value we should be have got it earlier. So again, the same replace one, which is the next for the next request. So let's run it again. So this time I think the issue should be fixed. If not, we will try to fix it. So yes, this issue is still there. The authentication token is not found. So we'll have to fix this issue. So let's try to correlate this value, because this is the value which we can see here. Okay, and we can find this value somewhere here in this. So let me select in the response, and let me see whether I have that anywhere in the response. So here, yes, so we have this value in the response, which means we can very confidently replace this value. Okay, and I think, okay, let me just replace this value first, and we'll do a validation. Yeah, we have this value, and let me do a replacement here. Next, yeah, we have it here. So I'm going to search it, and then another double quote. So we have got the relay state ID, clicking OK, search and replace. So we've got two values. Yes, okay, run it. So here it's again another interesting thing. So I think this value is not found. So now we have already saw this, but I don't know why it's not working. So here you can see this value. So at this point of time, what I normally do is I used to take the value, or I used to take the left boundary from here and the right boundary, so that sometimes this works. I'll show you how. Let me go edit. It won't work here, I know, but it will work in the testing. So if I run it here, you can see this value will work here, because at some times this kind of, see, you can see here this value has passed, and yes, I know it will get passed, because these are some of the tricks which most of us will not know. And here again the same thing. So for which value? Yeah, for authenticity token. So let me search for authenticity token. So it's not there. So now we have to fix this script here. Let me try to correlate the SAML response. So these are some of the things which we can try to fix the script. So it's already there in the previous column. So let's try to fix it. Yep, it's there. Come on. So we have got this value. Let me get the left boundary, and then the right boundary is here. SAML. Sorry, SAML. Clicking OK. Search and respond. Replace all. One. OK. I'm running this value. Start checking. Yeah, I guess we have passed. Yes, we have cleared that, I guess. And this is another variable issue, which is okay. So now we have come to the previous step. So we have got an issue with the SAML. So which means we have to fix these issues. So now let me replace this value here. So here you can see this value is here. So this always goes round and round. So let me take this login token from here and another colon. So this is going to be login underscore token. I'm clicking on OK. Search and replace all 23. So let me start checking. So now we have got a different one. So this value is not in the request. So let us go back to the response here. Go to details and response. So here we can see it shows a bad request. So which means this request has failed. So what we have to do is we have to correlate the value from here. So auth code correlate advanced both, it's the value here. So I'm going to create the left and the right boundary, and make sure it is selected. So just giving as cookie, click OK, search and replace all, yes, okay. I am testing it now. So now we have got another issue. So we have to still this assertion. Okay, now this cookie is not working. So we'll have to again go there. We'll have to check what is failing. So the previous request is options, and this again too is options. So let me go back to the response here. Details, request. So we'll have to check whether anything is changed. So nothing is changed here. Everything looks fine. Let's go to the response. Search. So here you can see we could see there is some response in the server response during recording, but it's not in the comparison with the recorded response. So we will try to fix this. So we'll have to go to the request and we'll try to send the maximum amount of thing which we can do, like whatever is possible from here. So one thing I could see is the accept here is different from here. We will have okay, so here it shows options, but in the request is get. So we will go here We'll change it to get and run this one. Let me stop it, go back, check the response. So it shows for one a different error. So I think in this scenario it has to be options. So here you can see, but still here it's two different requests. It's from, so let me change this. So let me go to the request here. It's the same thing. The login token, the set fetch mode is cars, the authorization bearer, I can see it's the same. Set fetch site is same site except language is same, origin same, except encoding is again same, except everything is same. But still the response is different. So in this scenario we will try again back to options, and let me run it again. So now the response turned to 200, but still I do not get the variable which I should get or I must get. So I'll have to fix that value. So the fix needs some more time. So I will break this into the second part. So we'll see at the second part in our next video, and I will show you how to create the framework rules. So all this time that you spent in correlating these values will be saved, and you can automate all these by the time when you create the script. I will show you how to do that. So for now I'm going to end this with this particular space, and then we will move on to the next video, which is the in our next video. So I will show you how to fix these issues and how to fix it really quick and easy. So until I meet you in our next video, it's bye bye from Vasan Shanmugam and Little Sla.